Trainz simulator, Trainz 2019. Today we're going to be looking at the MNRR T3s 460s available from Trainz Forge. These are one of the freelanced modified versions of the Northern Pacific 460 freeware that they put out not too terribly long ago. This is a payware model for the fictional MNRR. And it's really nice. Honest to gosh, it is. If you own any of the other MNRR stuff, it's most definitely well worth having. It's kind of a neat take. But you will get 3 locomotives in the pack. You'll get an early as delivered, an early in operation, and a late in operation, with some fairly noticeable changes across all 3 of them. So we'll be taking a look at that. I am absolutely going to cheat a little bit though, because I just got done mowing my yard. I had made the horrible mistake of trying to memorize my notes and then thinking I was going to go outside and do some work and then come in and sit down for a minute. But yeah, haven't we all been there? So I'm absolutely going to cheat. We're going to hop over to the Trainz Forge's website and we're going to read the history off the easy way. So point. Here we are. I know, it's almost like I was prepared. So the story is these T3 class 460s are some of the first locomotives ordered by the newly reformed Minnesota and Northern in 1905. Built by Alco, 25 of these small 460s were assigned to work the numerous branch lines across the MNRR system, a task that always seemed to be in constant need of motor power. Despite their diminutive size in the twilight years of steam, most of the T3s were kept in service all the way until the mid-1950s. Their small size and lightweight compared to a similarly powerful diesel, a key factor in their continued usefulness. T3s could also be found as yard switchers and on occasion still working short mainline freights, a task they were still capable of performing nearly 5 decades after their introduction. 24 of the 25 would meet the scrapper's torch, with class leader 1450 being retained as a park display. So that is the story on them, the fictional background. As I said, these locomotives are based on an actual Northern Pacific prototype. If you want to learn a little bit about that one, it's freeware available on this website, and I did a video on it a little bit ago. So I'm not going to dive too hard into that, but there's the description on the bells, buttons, and whistles that it's got, what you will receive in the pack, and it is a $5 pack. Where is it? Boom, $5. So, well, we're taking a look at it, and you're not out that much. Certainly easier price tag to hold up than just about anything available for TSC, that's for sure. But anywho, back to the real thing, or back to the product. We are on the Strasburg Railroad today, taking to do our show off. Obviously Strasburg most definitely does not run one of these, but size doesn't make it too far-fetched an idea. So right now we're looking at the late model with the centered headlight, the number boards, such, almost giving it a Southern Pacific feel. But we shall hop over here and start with numero uno. This is the early as delivered variant. So you'll notice it's got kind of a grayish boiler jacket, kind of a gray silver. And of course the MNRR lettering and such. The whistle is back here on the rearmost turret. The Headlight is an oil headlight. Oil. Yeah, I tried. Oil. Your marker lights are oil marker lights. It does not have a steam generator. Your tail light is obviously be a oil tail light. It's a single chime whistle, kind of Hooter style. Anything else of major note? Wow, that is a heck of a. That is one heck of a canter there. Anywho, air pumps will be different. So we got our single right here. Yeah. What do we got over here? This is the early modified. So our lettering is going to change up a little bit. Our numbering moves from the tender to the cab. Our designation changes up a little bit underneath. It's still a T3, but here we only have T3. Over here we got MNRR 57 1926 over 115 ST3. Honestly, the lettering looks pretty crispy, which is a hard thing to get right in Trainz. Once you get into this really small lettering, it's hard to get it to come out crispy. So that's right off the bat a really nice thing with these models. The nice crispy, tiny lettering here. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't like this canter. Wow, this almost makes that locomotive look like it would just lay over. It's one heck of a roll. Whether or not it's actually done like this, I have no idea. I have not paid attention very much to the main line next to Strasbourg. It has been a few years since I got to go to Strasbourg, so. But that's a different story for a different day. That doesn't matter. Rear of the tender, obviously, you can see changes up a little bit. Ah, my goodness. Somebody decided they were going to start weeding. Let me go close my window real quick. And I'm back. I know. It's going to bug some people that I don't edit that out, but I really don't care. We're looking for honesty and openness. I do not edit my videos. Some may say that's lazy. I say it's quality. It's probably about as real as it gets. So, somebody decided that they were going to start weed eating and all my windows are open because it's gorgeous outside. Can't hear anything over the weed eater, so. Anywho. Obviously, the lettering on the tender changes, and our headlight or tail light will change on the early to early modified variant. The early modified has an electric headlight, tail light, whatever, versus the oil. Of course, our lettering on the rear changes. We get our capacity, the MNRR up here. Different footboards back here, or rather, footboards added on. We don't have any here. So footboards, not much else changes, it looks like. Yeah. So then of course we come up to the locomotive. The generator has been added on. We get an electric headlight. Our whistle has moved up to next to the smokestack, and it is now very clearly a chimed whistle. A very nicely modeled chimed whistle. Let's see, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like a 5. So we got a 5 chimed whistle. Our bell looks like it still sits in about the same spot. Of course, our pumps have moved. We get a much more modern set of pumps up on the side here. Anything else? Electric headlight, electric marker lights. A footboard added right here. Don't have it there. Do have it there. Our handrails change. So here we got them running along the boiler like so. Here we got them running along the boiler like so. Of course, some of our associated plumbing will change thanks to the moved pumps here. And our running boards change. So over here, our running boards are off-center versus over here, they're more across the board. And that looks to be about it as far as the changes between these two. And then lastly, we've got the late model. Most obviously, we have a centered headlight, still electric. Got our marker light. Number boards. Our bell has moved to overhang the smoke box. So, unlike here, we have an overhanging bell. Our whistle is still up here. Generator's still there. I don't believe much else changes between the early modified and the late modified. To my knowledge, I don't see anything that's really changed all that much. So yeah, actually yeah I do. The lettering has changed on the tender, so you get this real small lettering right here on the tender versus over here we got the much larger blocky lettering. Which looks pretty good. Weathering looks pretty decent on these. The detail is really nice. They're nice and crispy. Lots of extra little details. Really nice builder plate. Overall, just a good looking locomotive. This is kind of entertaining right here. You can see where the bell is moved from. It's kind of a noticeable spot. But otherwise, really pretty decent looking. Even the brass looks really nice. It's a nice coloring. Now, I believe the sounds change from the early to the early modified, but the early modified and the late modified have the same sounds, but we're going to test all three of them because it's no real biggie. They're all three right here. So, we'll start with the early. Details, we got our train class, which will add the flags down here. White for extra, green for following. Nothing for scheduled. Refap and opens. Of course, our engineer windows can open. Our fireman windows can open. They are incremental, so you can't just slide them. Fireman and engineer door. The rear window, which might be a little hard to see, but we'll try. Yeah, right there. Rear window, front window, which will be where? Right there. Front window. So that's the bells and whistles we get to play with. A little bit odd that we don't get to open the smoke box door this time, but you know, I'm not complaining. It's not something that you really take notice of all that often, if I'm to be perfectly honest. Marker lights do light up. Interestingly enough though, the marker light emitter here is way off center. That's over there, and there's the marker light. The coloring is phenomenal, though, on the headlight. I freaking love it. Not too bright, not too dim. Really nice color. I love the headlight. Marker lights are kind of typical for Trainz Forge. and they do bleed through the smoke box in a weird way, but it's just kind of wonky. Marker light here is, the emitter is so far off center. Should change to green. Green looks pretty good. Once again, still way off center. So we'll turn those off. Bell. It's got a really nice sounding bell. The whistle emitter is way off. It's coming from right about there. So here it looks like it's on. Move back here, you can see that's way off over here. A little bit wonky there. And the smoke emitter is a little bit high. It's up here, not down in here. Our various leaks and such look decent. I don't know what these are supposed to go to. Is there a reason that we have what looks like holes? Actually, looks like those aren't attached to anything. Huh. That's different. This was alright. It's got a noticeable little crunchiness, but not too bad. These do have a custom cab if the custom cab floats your boat for Trainz. I always say it, I don't care much for custom cabs and Trainz. I don't drive in the cab and Trainz, so there's nothing really special to me, but it is there. It looks pretty good, honestly. Not half bad. Shelf sounds should remain the same. The smoke in reverse is kind of entertaining. I love those starting chuffs though. Man, that sounds just phenomenal. Barky, loud. Oh yeah, tender light does light as well. If you point, rotate, bam. I don't believe you can really change anything on the tender though. No. So there's the early as-built. Here's the early modified. Whistle's not my favorite. I did just notice we are missing a cord to go to our whistle. Got the handle up here. I ain't got a cord to run back to the cab, so we're using the force to blow our whistle. It's kind of entertaining. Matter of fact, maybe there it is. Right there. There's your whistle. Bell's not half bad. I kind of like the bell better on the early, but should be the same chuff sounds for all of them. Yeah, whistle's not my favorite. Headlight looks awesome. Number boards look awesome. Those light up. Love the coloring. And let's go to the light, because this is the one that we're going to spend the most time with, running through our different items. So again, headlight looks phenomenal. Numbers look phenomenal. I love the coloring. I love the light glow. Not obnoxious. Same bell, but instead of the whole bell swinging, just our little gong inside starts to ring. Should be the same whistle. So, like I said, not my favorite. I did forget to, matter of fact, I should be able to bank. So for the early, we get these same options as the as delivered. For this one, we can change our train number. I believe you have to do this in the editor mode though. So when you pull up your options in the editor mode, I believe you can change this, so it'll change your class up here. It's your actual train number. So this is your locomotive number. A lot of people actually don't know this. It's kind of weird, but this is your locomotive number. This number board up here is to classify the train. So, for example, it's train number 12. This number then would reflect that. This number board up here is to reflect that train number, not the locomotive number. So you do have the option to change that train number up here. I think you have to do it in the editor, which is something I tend to forget about. Of course, our roof or class, which will light the marker lights. Marker lights have the same issue though. They're way off center over here. So, anywho, let's take it for a spin. Man, I love that shelf sound. It just sounds phenomenal. Sure, our track set so we can oogie and boogie on down to Strasbourg. And the whistle, it just kind of sounds like an old recording. A really old recording. Is it the worst? Nah. It's definitely not my favorite. But again, it's Trainz. It's dummy easy to change your sounds out if you so please to. I'm not going to dock big points for that. I am, however, going to dock big points for this because this is awful. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the smoke, but that didn't float my boat. I like this. This right here looks pretty decent, but whatever this kind of blossoming explosion is that pops out at increments and then phases through everything, I'm not a fan of that. This it doesn't look that great. Not the blossoming. The regular smoke effects actually look pretty decent. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention there is the Stevenson valve gear inside that is animated. It is really hard to see it because there's drivers in the way, but it is in there. You can just kind of see it right there. It does have animated model valve gear, which is really nice. The chuff sounds are awesome. It's one of the few times I can say that with Trainz. The chuff sounds are really nice. Now we're going to do a little bit of speeding on Strasbourg, but that's fine. Now, that chuff sound is not my favorite. It's a really, really noticeable change. Almost like two completely different locomotives. And there's a really noticeable loop. Ooh, that has an even more noticeable loop. Whistle kind of has this wonky issue. Same with the generator here, where you see little cotton balls. But starting out, that chuff sound from 0 to like, what is that, 18? 0 to 18? It really sounds nice. I know there's some people that are going to make a horrible joke about that, but such is the way of life, as some would say. But that 0 to 17, 18, that chuff sound is really, really nice. After that, it almost sounds like a completely different locomotive. It doesn't really float my boat anyway. That I freaking love. But yeah, it almost sounds like a completely different locomotive, and there's a really, really noticeable loop in the audio file that just, it's not the best. So for slower speeds, sounds really nice. Higher speeds, could use some work. But yeah, there it is, guys. The MNRR T3s goes really nicely with the fleet of MNRR stuff that we've already got out. I do highly recommend going and taking a look at them. Obviously, these come from Trainz Forge. I showed you guys the website just a minute ago. But as I always do, I will link the website to the description. Go check it out. It's $5. You're really not out much. It's well worth supporting these guys. These guys do a phenomenal job, and they give us a lot of freeware, so go check them out. I think it's pretty cool. It's really nice for you freelancers. Really, really nice base for reskins. I love this right here. I will absolutely be taking that for the Eagle River at some point, but hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go check it out. I will see you guys next time.